Okay, hello. It is the end of day 19 now. So yesterday, Gemini 2.0 Flash was released, and I decided that I would get right on that and start testing that out in my agents. Also, a few hours ago, Rime Labs released a new TTS model called Mist version 2, and I decided I'd add support for that also. So also today, actually, version 0.0.56 of Pipecat was released, and version 0.0.13 of Pipecat Flows was released, and I'm building on all of those. I'm building on top of all of those, so right at the cutting edge of voice AI technology here. So let me explain why I decided to jump to Gemini 2.0. There's a nice little post here from Quinn Kramer, CEO of Daily, who sums things up. So voice AI apps need an LLM with fast time to first token, good instruction following, reliable function calling, and natural conversation dynamics. GPT-4o was ahead of all of those by a wide enough margin. There wasn't really much point using anything else. And Gemini 2.0 Flash is competitive on all four of those attributes. And actually, the headline was that it was meant to be faster, smarter, and significantly cheaper than GPT-4o. Now we'll get to that based on my experience today a little bit later. And then, as mentioned a few hours ago, Rime Labs released this new model, and they say it's really good. I quite like it. You can judge for yourself, because I'm going to start with a demo of what I've been able to get working today. And this is a demo where I'm going to try and get it to work, to be clear. I'll explain later why. And I actually added I created a branch on Pipecat and added some extra logging, actually on Pipecat Flows, and added some extra logging in places for this Gemini model, because I'm trying to figure out some things about why it's not working the way I expect. Okay, so I'm running my server with the TTS provider Rime, and let's have a chat to it.
Hi there, I'm Chris, an AI voice assistant from John George Voice AI Solutions. For quality assurance purposes, this call will be recorded. Do you consent to this recording?
Yes, I do.
May I know your name, please?
Sure, it's John.
Thank you, John. Could you tell me if you're interested in technical consultancy or voice agent development?
Voice agent development.
Thank you, John. What tasks or interactions are you hoping your voice AI agent will handle?
I'm hoping it will handle out-of-hours calls.
Thank you. What's your desired timeline for this project, and are there any specific deadlines?
Oh, I'd like it done by the end of the month.
Thank you. What budget have you allocated for this project?
£2,000.
Thank you. Before we proceed, I'd like to quickly ask for your feedback on the call quality so far. You're interacting with the kind of system you might be considering purchasing, so it's important for us to ensure it meets your expectations. Could you please give us your thoughts on the speed, clarity, and naturalness of the interaction?
Oh, you're doing quite well. I just need to improve my prompting.
I've navigated you to our Discovery Call booking page where you can schedule a free discovery call to discuss your requirements in more detail. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you choosing John George Voice AI Solutions. Goodbye.
His voice is pretty impressive, I've got to say, and it navigated me to the right place. Let's try some more scenarios.
Hi there, I'm Chris, an AI voice assistant from John George Voice AI Solutions. For quality assurance purposes, this call will be recorded. Do you consent to this recording?
No, I don't.
I understand. I've navigated you to our contact form where you can send us your questions or requirements in writing. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you choosing John George Voice AI Solutions. Goodbye. Hi there, I'm Chris, an AI voice assistant from John George Voice AI Solutions. For quality assurance purposes, this call will be recorded. Do you consent to this recording?
Yes, I do.
May I know your name, please?
It is John.
Thank you, John. Could you tell me if you're interested in technical consultancy or voice agent development?
Technical consultancy.
I've navigated you to our consultancy booking page where you can set up a video conference with our founder to discuss your needs in more detail. Please provide as much detail as you can when you book to assist us in preparing for the call. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you choosing John George Voice AI Solutions. Goodbye.
You never trust anyone that does a demo like this. Seriously, that's the best, that's the smoothest experience I've had all day with Gemini. That voice is pretty good. Okay, so I'll explain now what the struggles I've been having. Okay, so right here is where I added the support for the Google LLM Gemini. So the model here, I'll take you through the actual config. But this is just where I needed to set it. You instantiate the Google LLM service with an API key, the model, which is Gemini 2.0 Flash, and the parameters. Parameters basically setting the temperature. Now, I tried with temperature 0.2 as that's my preference for the 4.0 model, but when you use a low temperature with the Google service, you have issues. So essentially, when you ask for consent, you literally have to say yes, otherwise it won't like it. And when you're requesting consultancy, it won't even accept consultancy as an answer for technical consultancy. It will just ask you again. And development, it won't ask you. It will ask you until you literally say, I need voice agent development. So I had to increase the temperature there. And I've actually just set it, I believe, to the default 1.0, which is what Google's default is in their AI Studio. So the other thing I had to do to get this to work was in my Flowbot implementation, I had to change the function schema here. So I think I have a note actually. So this one is this is the function schema for the Gemini one, and this is function schema for OpenAI. Now what I need to do obviously is come up with a way to support both, but just for now, just because I wanted to work with Gemini, and I have set Gemini as my default model because I was so confident that this was going to be the one based on what I'd heard about it. But yeah, I'm going to have a way to support them both soon. So another thing I did then is I simplified the role prompts and improved those. So now I've switched to XML, but that wasn't the main thing that I improved here. So rather than Markdown, I'm using XML now. And I've removed a few of the a few of the headers here. There was one that said context, which I've just merged into the role. And the meta instructions were formerly known as specifics, which I just thought wasn't very specific. So these are actually meta instructions about the instructions. And then the task is added to the role messages for each task. So that's another thing I did. Rather than just passing one role message to every single node, there's now specific role messages for each node, and the task, the overall general task, what's trying to be achieved there, is specified within the role. And also I've created a way to pass context to each role node. So what I wanted to do essentially is have a way to pass node to node in the actual message instructions. You see, so to do that, let me find my flow. Yeah. So in the handle name and interest now, I've taken the name out of state and I'm passing that when I create the close call node so that I can add it to the context of that node, because I reset the context between node switches. So to support this then, some of the development role nodes have this extra thing, and you can specify an array of additional instructions where you can also you can pass your state or whatever you want actually, and an explanation of what to do with it. And then in flow here, this is where that's actually implemented. So you get additional context where by default, I'll give it the day of the week. And then also what I'm doing is I'm passing the name as a given, because the idea, you probably heard it saying thank you after every step of the development thing. I want it to thank me by name. It's just because that's polite, right? And use the name throughout is part of the instructions. So the issue I've been having is with this current setup where I'm passing this in the role messages, it doesn't seem to know about the name or the date when I ask it about it. Now, I thought that might be because the role wasn't getting passed somehow by the Pipecat flows framework. But I added some logging for that, and actually if we look, I think I did enable the logging before I did the demo. Okay, here we go. So you can see that there is a node role system that is ostensibly being passed to the LLM context, and this is something I added to the flow manager to log. It says the caller is given their name as John. Now when I ask the model about this, it refuses to do that. So what I thought this might be lying to me. I thought it might not actually be passing the context there, right? So what I did temporarily was I was passing all of the role messages in the task messages. Now this gave some really strange results. It was really frustrating because it would actually start reading out these instructions, like say, I used to have it saying actually invoke your function call, and it would say invoke function with this variable equal to that, and without actually calling the function, and it would just get stuck. And it was very strange, but it would actually, if I asked it about my name or the date, answer those questions. Now, since that has happened, I've been thinking that perhaps Gemini might have some special instructions in the model that instruct it to never ever reveal the contents of the system prompt, and the role might be passing that system prompt, you see. So just the fact that this is in the system prompt might be why that's happening. So I think I need to put this additional context before the instructions in the task messages. And the reason I think that is actually I do remember seeing in Pipecat somewhere in the messages, there's a handler there for situations where Gemini refuses to cooperate, essentially, because for security purposes, because they've put some guardrails in Gemini. So I think that might be it, and I'm going to try that tomorrow. So another thing worth mentioning, I guess, is that I've been having an occasional issue, which I'm not sure whether the cause is my computer or if it's something with the framework or it's something with my actual code. But sometimes when I'm speaking to the model, it will just hang and won't respond to me, and the logs won't update. But then when I stop the call, everything sort of updates and floods the screen with everything that I've said. But then the room isn't deleted from daily, so I have to manually delete that. So I've got to figure that out as well. So yeah, I guess that's going to do for today. See you tomorrow.